I have to talk about it, warriors. I must weigh in. Let me give you my 2 cents. I watched in its entirety the current occupant of the White House. I watched his State of the Union address. Now, you might say, why did I bother even doing that? I did that because in order for me to comment on something or to talk about it on one of my radio programs, I, for myself, want to see it in real time. I want to hear what is said. I don't want to hear sound bites. I don't want to see clips on uh, any of the networks, and I don't want to see anything online. So I did watch it in its entirety, and I had one focus and one focus only. Would we talk about children? Now, when I say that, think of a big wheel with a lot of spokes. When I say children, that means digital safety. That means real time safety. That means what's going on the border. With our children, with the fentanyl being flooded with recent reports saying that enough came over the border to kill all Americans 5 times over. And again, affecting each and every community in the United States. Nobody's exempt. So we've got that poison. I don't even want to call it drugs. That is poison. That is the destruction of America, poisoning our children, poisoning all people. So we've got that. We've got the unaccompanied minors that are coming over the border, and those coming with adults that seemingly a lot of them are not their actual parents or family members. And of course, there's no transparency. We don't see children in the news, right? You usually see long lines of men, pretty much, or sometimes you see like a family with a child, but you're not seeing all the women, you're not seeing all the children. And then where do they go once they get here, right? Because we have reports that they're being picked up in groups of 25 to 50, put on buses, and we don't know where they're going. But we do know they could be in your community. They're going somewhere. So we've got that going on. Then I wanted to hear more about youth mental health, education, our kids. I didn't hear any of that. I did hear the occupant of the White House say, and by the way, I heard he's actually not there that much, but for shorthand, I'll call him the occupant of the White House, um, did mention youth mental health. He mentioned mental health. We have to go in and go hard on educating parents, caregivers, our school systems about youth mental health, right? I'm not even going to go into it. They are suffering. Our kids are suffering. We know the internet is an addiction. We know all this normalization being forced on our kids of sexualization is, they have so much readily available where you can buy drugs on Snapchat with 2 clicks, where porn, the algorithms direct kids directly to these sites. Even if you talk to your kids, their friends have phones, their friends do things. This is tough, warriors. So I didn't hear a lot of talk about how we're going to deal with our children. I didn't hear a lot of talk about human trafficking, human slavery, the enslavement of children, the enslavement of people. We just got our new reports in from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and this is just one. It is the main, but it's just one where files are reported, where nude images, anything inappropriate to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And 32 million, I'm rounding it off, 32 million. Last year, the report was 29.3 million. So we're up. Of course, I thought the number would be even higher. Warriors, this is an American crisis. We obviously have a government, and I think we know this, not putting the emphasis and care into our children, into our youth. It is up to each and every one of us. My trip to Washington last week revealed to me that the administration is primarily concerned with labor trafficking, not sex trafficking. But we have to keep in mind, our minds on a lot of kids now are forced in this forced servitude, actually working as, I'm going to say, slaves in people's homes. This is going on in the United States. I see forced begging here in New York City, where I live, where they're out selling candy bars and water bottles, and down in the subway, they're selling cut up fruit. They're kids. It's hard to tell because they wear masks and they wear hoodies. They're very petite. They could be 12 or they could be 22. They look like kids to me. So all of this is going on. So my point was proven last night that we have an administration currently that is just not doing anything. And Washington is slow to do anything. And I'm sorry, There are a few good people there. Senator Marsha Blackburn, Josh Hawley called out for, I don't know how it could be implemented, but he did call for, at least he's raising the alarm, that kids should not be allowed on social media until they're 16. Again, the genie's out of the bottle. I don't know how we're going to do this one, but at least he's talking about it. And we have Amy Klobuchar. She's stepping up and actually getting involved with child safety issues. This is good news. We always have Ann Wagner in Missouri. She has been a big help to the Warriors from the beginning. So we do have good people, but remember, their hands are tied with everything that's going on right now. And a reminder that all of this is a bipartisan issue. It belongs to no political party. These are human rights abuses being thrust on our children and other children. We have to have a heart. So I leave you with this. It is all the more reason that we must become the warriors, that we must step up. We must educate ourselves, learn what's going on, engage our kids, empower them to say, no, none of this is right. At least open the dialogue, start talking. Kids are savvy, kids understand. Because you know what, warriors? It's up to us. We can't leave it up to anybody else. It is time to step in 2023, because the only thing that will affect change is all of us coming together. But you got to know what you're talking about first. And remember, community creates change. Thank you always for watching these videos. I have a lot to say. We're going to continue on. A lot of things are going on. Remember, always follow lynswarriors.org. Please try to share whatever we tweet out, we put on Facebook, Instagram. If you do one thing for us, please just get some information. Share it with your kids. Share it with your family members. Share it in your circles. We have to protect our children. Each and every day, we must be a warrior.